At first glance, the battery in a vehicle equipped with start-stop functionality may appear the same as any other, and you might think that servicing and replacing them is the same as you've always done. If that's the case, you'd be wrong, and you might want to watch this edition of The Trainer. Today's edition of The Trainer is brought to you by Autel. Be sure to visit them at www.autel.com. Batteries today have a tough job, from starting the engine to supplying the electrical power for every device on the automobile, from ECUs that actually operate the engine and transmission to the creature comfort systems of heated seats and refrigerated cup holders. But starting the engine is the single biggest demand that we place on the battery. Let's take a look at what that looks like using the scope function of the Autel MS919. The top trace is the voltage level measured directly at the battery, and the lower trace is the current demand placed on the battery. Note the high demand peak and the drop in voltage potential. Now imagine the demand on the battery when it's installed in a vehicle with start-stop functionality. Every time the vehicle comes to a stop, the engine is shut off to conserve fuel, and the battery is expected to restart it immediately without breaking a sweat. Back to our scope capture. See how the battery is replenished by the charging system shortly after the demand has been met? The number of times that the battery goes through the discharge-charge cycle is referred to as the cycle rate. And on start-stop vehicles, that's a very high number. Conventional flooded cell batteries can't handle the high cycle rate that these systems demand. That's why you'll find typically AGM absorbed glass matte batteries or EFB enhanced flooded cell batteries fitted to these vehicles. In addition to the special battery design, vehicles using start-stop technology typically are also equipped with some type of battery management system, a protocol based in the engine control module. The ECM keeps a close eye on the battery, monitoring current, voltage, and battery temperature. Using this information, it can determine the battery's state of charge, or SOC, its ability to restart the engine on demand, or state of function, and finally, its overall condition, or state of health. The ECM also keeps an eye on the energy demand placed on the battery. It tries to maintain a balance in the system, and if it starts seeing things getting a little out of whack, it may start shutting down some of the customer convenience systems that we talked about earlier. If that's not enough, it may even shut down the start-stop function. And if the alternator is able to replenish the battery back to where it needs to be, well, then the ECM will start to restore these functions. The ability of the battery to restart the car, though, is job number one. And if the ECM determines that the battery is no longer able to do its job, it will warn the driver of a defective battery. And should that driver bring the vehicle to you for the replacement, keep in mind that it's more than simply swapping one battery out for another. On vehicles using battery management systems, it's not unusual for the battery to have to be registered. That is, the ECM needs to be told that a new battery has been installed. If you fail to register the battery in a system that requires the procedure, DTCs may be set. The operation of customer convenience systems may be affected. Even the start-stop functionality may be terminated, even if it's only for a short period of time. The Autel line of battery tools, the BT608 handheld unit or the BT506, which is designed to be used with an app or paired with the MS919, takes the guesswork out of battery and charging system testing and guides you through the maze of battery replacement. The first step is to connect the scan tool to the vehicle's DLC. We'll begin by selecting the in-vehicle battery test. Follow the prompts on the tool and test the battery, starting, and charging systems. When replacing the battery in one of these vehicles, always use one of the same construction design and rating as the vehicle came equipped with. Bigger is not always better, and certainly not in this case. And never swap out an AGM or EFB for a conventional flooded cell battery. It's not going to last, and it's going to certainly cause you a dissatisfied customer. As you can see from this full system scan topology, there are literally dozens of modules on the vehicle. Because of this, it may be necessary to prepare the vehicle for the battery replacement, so be sure you look up the replacement procedure in your service information system. And simply disconnecting the battery can cause the memories of those units to be lost. Well, one memory that you're not going to lose is the memory you have of all the headaches you're going to run into when you reinstall the new battery. From everything to a convenience system that doesn't work, a radio that won't play, to an engine that won't start. But there's an easy way to avoid that. Use a memory saver, like the Autel BTMS. Using the BTMS is simple. Connect the end to the vehicle's diagnostic link connector. Then connect the BTMS to a secondary supply, another battery or jump box. Do not use a battery charger. With the memory saver now in place, we can safely remove the battery and not worry about the modules losing their minds in the process. Oh yeah, make sure you take the negative cable loose first and then the positive. And remember, the positive cable is going to have voltage on it. Voltage coming from that memory saver power supply. So make sure that you isolate it and prevent it from shorting to ground while you're making that battery swap. In some cases, you'll actually have to input a code into the module. So look for a decal like this one and use this number as the code that you enter into the module. If you don't own an Autel scan tool, then consider the standalone BT608. This tool will do everything that the 506 scan tool combination will do, and it will actually walk you by the hand through the entire process. You can find out more about this tool and the others that I use today by visiting www.autel.com. And as always, thanks for watching.